Good evening, everyone. I'm Robert Sampson from the Colonel Club. Excited to have you with us tonight for our virtual Colonel Club Caravan stop. It's been a great summer. The momentum and the hype is real. We've seen it all across this state all summer. The move to the ASUN is here, and it's time to get reinvested in EKU athletics as we near a 2021 football season. Going to be really exciting as we get going here, and it's such a great summer for this athletics department. Teams are starting to come back, and there is a buzz on campus. Before we get going, though, let's go back to January when the announcement was made for EKU to join the ASUN.
Today is about the trajectory of where we're going and signals the beginning of something new. This morning we announced our transition into the ASUN conference effective July 1 of this year. To say that we're excited about this move is obviously a gross understatement. I have no doubt that we have identified a conference partner who will allow both our institution and our athletics department to benefit and forge an even brighter future building upon our storied past.
Joining the ASUN gives us the opportunity to share our story with so many more.
This is another step in a very bold journey to elevate our institution further and faster than we ever have before.
The work starts now, and we're excited to rise with the ASUN.
We're going to welcome in the athletic director and vice president of Eastern Kentucky University, Matt Roan. Matt, welcome in tonight.
I appreciate it. As I'm looking at the camera here, Robert, it's perfect timing. We talk about the ASUN rising, and I have the sun setting behind this shoulder. But I appreciate the opportunity to be with everybody tonight, our fans, our alums, our donors, our supporters, and partners. To Robert's point about the excitement being real, I tell you that I spent the last week or so with my family in Florida. We were vacationing, and usually when I get back off of vacation, there's a bittersweet feeling of, hey, it's time to get back to work. But yesterday, pulling back into town, I could not have been more excited because I knew that the end of vacation meant that our fall sports were here. We're so excited about that. It's been a special summer, very rewarding summer. We've been blown away by the interest in these caravans from Covington to Louisville to Lexington to right here in Richmond with the launch of the ASUN, our membership in the ASUN, and really excited to be virtual tonight. Appreciate everybody jumping on here with us.
One of the things that makes this upcoming season so exciting is the momentum brought from the end of last football season, and that concluded with a 49-17 win over Western Carolina in the Opportunity Bowl. Walt Wells is going to join us in just a moment, but first we're going to take a quick look back at that game.
Western Carolina and Eastern Kentucky in the final game of EKU's 2020 season. Welcome to the Opportunity Bowl presented by Raising Cane's.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Out of the backfield. And Les works his way, throws, moves on the wheel route, moves down at the 50, takes a man to the 40, inside the 30, oh, on to Luke, running to the near side 20, to the 50, into the 5, touchdown! Here the fight, we go backwards to him, back pass to an open Jones, Jacquez, he says he's in zone Jones, he's at the 10, he's at the 5, he is! Jacquez, in zone Jones! Touchdown on Rickery. Celebrate, Colonel fans. 10-5, put more on the board.
A lot of young men you see in that video who have given so much to EKU over the last year or two, and especially last season during such a unique season during COVID. And the head coach of the EKU Colonels, Walt Wells, joins us now. Coach, great to see you tonight.
I appreciate you doing this, Robert. We've done a great job with all our Colonel Caravans that weren't virtual, and so it's fun to be on when it is, since we got used to that world last year. But hats off to you and the whole staff that, with all the stops we did this year, it's been great getting out and seeing the fans and great attendance. Just been really good. There's a lot of buzz around right now, and I'm enjoying that.
So much enthusiasm for this upcoming season. We saw a lot of former players out at the Caravans. They had a great time, I know. And as we inch towards this season, it's going to be a unique one with the ASUN WAC Challenge and what awaits with this new conference. Coach, tell us a bit about what to expect this year.
Well, hopefully it'll be a whole lot different than last year, obviously, with all the COVID protocols and everything that we had to manage and keep up with and deal with on a day-to-day basis. There will still be some regulations, and we know that, and we're waiting to get the rulings on all that. But the ASUN WAC Challenge is really going to be, if you look at that conference with all the teams that are in that, it's going to be a Premier League next year. It is not going to wait and 2 or 3 years build and do things like that. It's going to be Premier next year. So we obviously have the defending national champions in that league. UCA, who's the top 10 teams in that league. It's going to be fun. I think it's what everybody wants to see, which is every game does matter. Every game is competitive. It reminds me of the old Gateway Conference when I was working in that conference, and it reminds me of, to a degree, the SEC and what they're trying to do now and what we're trying to do in the ASUN. So I think iron sharpens iron. We've always talked about that. If you're going to go and you look at that schedule, you get to the last part of it where it says FCS playoffs. If we go through that and when we go through that and when we make those playoffs, then we're going to be battle tested. We're going to be ready to make a run.
It starts off quickly with the same team you ended last season with, Western Carolina, and they're going to have a new coach and a new look this year. I know you've probably put plenty of prep in for that, and it's always unpredictable when you play a team with a new head coach to start the season.
Well, especially when they got theirs after the spring season. And so I know Caravan. Caravan's known to throw it all over the yard, which I'm sure is what they wanted to do. And they've been hit with the transfer portal, and he hired his son to come be the offensive coordinator. So I know we've been following where he was at last year, and I know the defensive coordinator is a new coordinator, but we've gone back and researched the places he's been and got some videos. So nowadays it's hard to hide everything you do. You just kind of prep for it, but it'll still make it a tough task because they're good football coaches. They're there for a reason. And that team will be, the members that are still there will remember, what happened at the end of last year. And so they'll be ready to go. And we've got to, go out there and get out the gate quick.
Coach, last year when you came to the season, you hadn't had a normal offseason in any way, shape, or form. No spring practice, no normal offseason practice. Now you've had that time. Tell us just how important that time is to be able to get in there and have that full offseason workout program, full offseason classroom opportunities with these kids.
Well, I think it comes back to the decision that our administration made to play in the fall. And I can't keep going back to that enough because it was a huge decision to play in the fall. It gave us some normalcy, especially for our young men, for a staff, for everybody that's involved in our program, athletic department and everything. So I think that was a key factor in leading up to this year. And then I've talked to a couple of coaches throughout the year and then throughout this spring and how they're handling them. A lot of them had all of May and June off. And so you miss all that training time. You miss January, February, March, April, May, June in the weight room 4 days a week, moving heavy weight, monitoring nutrition constantly. No spring practice. 15 days of spring practice, is different than going through a full season, I think, on the body, on the mind, the mental health of these young men and young people that are in our programs. I just think that puts us where we need to be to keep moving forward. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be some good competition. They'll be ready to go. As I've said a couple times, I think the problems from the spring, if there is problems, will show up in October and November because that becomes a long, long time to be playing football.
Coach, one of the things that this summer and the spring has allowed, you've gotten some great nutrition opportunities for the team. Just tell us how important that is, and maybe thank a few of our local restaurants that have helped.
There's no question. I mean, it all starts off with our restaurants. Andy Richmond, my offense coordinator, is the head of that program, along with Jason Daniels, our DFO, Gary McPeak, our assistant DFO, and Taylor West, who is our on-campus recruiting coordinator. So they all have a big hand in setting all that up. Smoking Jacks out of Berea. Drake Jackson, got to know them when I was at the University of Kentucky. Drake Jackson's folks, they were just here tonight. We just had their meal for the last 8 meals of two to four pieces of chicken, mac, cheese, green beans. Then you go to Apollo's from Rodney Davis and his crew, and House of Q, which are both great. I mean, we get all the pastas and then all the pulled pork and different things. You try to give them something to eat so they'll maintain that nutrition part of it. And then, excuse me, Jackson's over here, the little meat and three place right around the corner here, has done a great job all summer, been really good to us. And then Texas Roadhouse is another one that has had a great meal for us. And Madison Garden. We some of these kids have never been to Madison Garden. Just blows my mind. But we've got them some wings and taught them all where the garden was. So hopefully they'll be down there in the garden. So those places have done an outstanding job. And we've had others at times fill in and do some great things for us. But that meal supplement, after they work out, after they run, after they do everything all day, for them to come and have that catered meal, and it's no charge to them, is really, really important that they get that caloric intake back in before they go to bed, because how most kids, some kids will eat right, but most of them may eat, an M&Ms and a honey bun before they go to bed, and that, although that's great going in, and I've eaten too many of that, it's not what you want to refuel your body so you don't cramp up and do the things that you don't want to do, and you want to build the muscles the way you want to build them.
Coach, this offense and Parker McKinney last year did some really great things on short preparation. Tell us what to expect out of this offense this year.
Well, I think what you'll see is you'll see a lot of new faces, first and foremost. We lost most of our receivers. We lost our tailback. And so you're going to see – and we lost a couple offensive linemen. So you're going to see some new faces on it. We moved Dakota Allen to tight end. Hadn't seen him in pads other than in spring ball, and he had a great spring. And feel like he's going to really develop into a threat for us there. He's really taken to the position. We didn't ask him to move. He came in. Now, we probably put a bird in his ear, but he came in and did it on his own in January, and I think that's a great place for him because I think he might have a future there beyond EKU. I think Keandre McGlure and the people that we have added, DeJohn Hewitt, who we've added in the backfield, I think those guys, Braden Sloan, has really looked good this summer. So I think some of those guys, and I don't want to leave out anybody, but, it is what it is. I think those guys will give us a balanced running attack. It's going to be fun to watch who comes out of that with that job. We brought Cord Sandberg in for to challenge Parker and to be with Parker. I think Parker's done a heck of a job this summer of leading, but I think Cord's come in and really competed well. So, I feel good where we're heading offensively. Andy does a great job. The whole staff does. They got great chemistry in there. We're still going to pump the ball down the field. We're still going to run the rock. So those are the things that you'll see out of our offense.
That'll definitely take shape as this fall camp gets going here in the next week or two. And, when we look back at the spring, the defense at times really stuck out as a high point when looking at this at this entire team. Just tell us a little bit about what we can see on defense and maybe some of the new faces we'll see on that side of the ball.
Well, I think the biggest thing on defense is our kids are getting used to the system. I mean, we moved from a 4-down to a 3-down without a spring ball. And so we made the commitment after the Marshall game. We're like, hey, we're just going to play our 3-down primarily until we get comfortable with it, which took us 4 or 5 games to get into. We started mixing some 3rd down, 4-down in, but really stayed in our 3-down look. And so what we saw in the spring is a familiarity, an understanding. When he does this, I do that. Those type of things coming through on our defense. And I think some of the key cogs you're going to see is I think we're going to be strong up. We had the potential to be strong up front with, Q Floyd being one of our defensive ends, which we call a field end. TK McClendon, the transfer from LSU, is flashed and does some really good things as the boundary end. Madison Norris and Ubon have done a good job out there at the jack position, along with Jaden Boss. And so, I think up front, we've got a chance to set the edge and change the line of scrimmage. One guy that's really impressed me since he's walked on campus has been Ryan Jackson. I mean, that guy, we had a meeting today, and he is setting what the standard is to be a defensive lineman here. And not just on the field, but off the field too. And I'm really excited that he was my first recommit, I guess. And I'm really excited about him at the nose guard position because he's long, he's learning how to play that position, and he's athletic enough that he can get some pressure in there. So just a really, really good young man, and I'm proud of him. Added a cut. You were young at inside backer last year, and we're still young a little bit, but they got last year, and then we added in Kyle Bailey, who transferred from Western Kentucky, who was a 2-year starter down there from Carrollton, Georgia. Really impressed with his knowledge of the game, really impressed of how he stepped up in being new, but being a leader. And one of the other transfers up front that's doing a real good job is Roland Walder. He's doing a really good job. I love his leadership. And then we get in the secondary. I think we added some depth with Roy Baker and John Blunt. I'm pleased where we're at with our secondary, our safety position, and Mike Dietzel's come in and done a really nice job there. So, it's going to be fun to watch these guys continue to battle and compete as we get into games. Davion Ross is back at corner. So, and then we got Matt out there at our outside linebacker. We call it a medium, our outside linebacker position. And we've moved Javari Anderson out there. So we feel like between him, Matt, Javari, and then Shaq Fall behind him, I feel like we've got some quality depth. We flipped the roster pretty good, probably about 70 new players. Still got 3 more pieces that'll be coming in here in the next 2 weeks or next week and a half before we get started. So really pleased with where we're headed. I think Billy Brown's done an outstanding job, him and Brandon Paladar in the weight room. Really pleased with the discipline that we've had in the weight room. And just, most of these guys aren't going to school. So for them to be where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be, I think it's really paying off for them. And with him and Brandon doing a great job in the weight room. And John Mikes helped us a lot in there this summer until he got his little injury, and we had to let him go get fixed real quick. But saw him today. That's one reason I thought about it. But those guys are really working well together, and I'm really proud of how they're working down there in the weight room.
You spoke. Some of these kids aren't in class this summer. A lot of them taking online classes right now and not in class. That'll change a good bit this fall. And it was a good summer for a lot of these guys. I know a lot of the newcomers got off to a really good start academically, doing a great job getting their EKU academic careers getting started. You spoke of a lot of those newcomers throughout your discussion on defense. Just how different is it this season when you're bringing in so many newcomers through the portal and what's happened with the transfer portal this year for you?
Well, I watched that video and you see a lot of guys that played that, very well may could have still been here playing, but had chose to go into the portal for whatever different reasons they had. And we all respect that and wish them well and hope that they do great in their careers if they choose to keep playing and their academic careers. And we hope everything goes well for them because, it's a new day and age. And that's the one thing about the portal that, in discussions with a lot of the former players and stuff that I feel like is going to not hurt EKU, but be a different change to EKU because for so long, everybody, came here, played for Coach Kidd, had a 4 or 5 year career, and then all the coaches that followed. And now it's, it's not like that. I mean, the core group of guys that will stick around and get the great experience here is awesome. But we also know we have to be prepared for, departures. We have to see how those may happen. We have to anticipate how those happen, and we have to recruit our team just as much as we recruit our recruits. And I think that's vital because, EKU is a great place. And I want these guys to understand it. And we'll do a study and talk to them about the portal and how many people are left. I think Greg Sankey said it the other day. There's 11,000 left in the portal that went in. And so there's 11,000 people that got left out. And some of them probably wanted to be. Maybe they didn't want to do it anymore. But some of them probably thought things might be different in life. And so for us, I think we went out and Obviously, I hope we upgraded and brought in guys that will come in and one, be able to contribute on the field, but two, be able to, to be proud to be from EKU and happy to be from EKU. And, and that's what we want.
Coach, you have such a long tradition here, working with different coaches, and especially the one that rises to the top is Coach Kidd. And there's a great article about him over the weekend, even some humor that some people already thought it was his birthday, which is coming up in December. He will be 90 at that time. And Coach, just tell us a little bit about Coach Kidd and just how his influence is still all over this program.
Well, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, his stamp is not only on EKU football, it's on EKU, it's on Richmond. And quite frankly, there's still, we had 48 teams here this weekend at our 7-on-7 tournament. And so it's stamped out through the state, throughout all the high school coaches that are still coaching, that were coaching when Coach Kidd was, coaching. And so his legacy is unbelievable. He's a really good man, really good person, first and foremost. And then, obviously he's a great coach. And he did it the right way. I don't know if there's ever will be another person that stays somewhere as long as he stayed. And he's just really, really inspirational to me in a lot of ways. I came here, I just lost my father. And so I went a year without him and then came here. And he knew that. And he always checked on me and always asked about, he met my mom maybe 4 or 5 times. Mom just didn't, travel or whatever. And he always, asked me how my mom was doing. And what's funny is the other day when he came over here, and we all know he's battled some things, but he's pulled out of it real great and he's doing well. And he asked me, he said, "Your mom's still living?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "How's she doing?" And she goes, "It's been a while." And I'm like, "Yes, sir. It's been 25 years. And he was like, "Wow, well, that's great." Just that type of mentor that lets you know, like, he still get after you. And, that's coaching. I mean, if you get your feelings hurt when a coach gets after you, then as a coach, then, what are you doing? But he cared about you as a person. And I think that's why he had a lot of success, because his players felt that.
For those that haven't had a chance yet, just checking out this weekend's Lexington Herald Leader, a great piece by John Clay on Coach. And
no doubt. I didn't see it because we were working all day Saturday when it came out. And then I guess Sunday I was sitting there and somebody sent it to me and I was like, holy cow, all right. So I read it and matter of fact, I'm supposed to go over to Keith's house and get some memorabilia that he's got stored away for me for the office and some different places. So I look forward to going over there this week.
He had a great wall, a picture of all the memorabilia up where he's living now. Great to see that. Coach, as we look towards this season tickets flying off the shelf right now. I know people are excited about this upcoming season. How important is it to have folks out in the stands this fall when the season gets going?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, our young men work hard. All right. Our coaches work hard. And our administration works hard. And the people that sell tickets work hard. And the people that, sell concessions work hard. And they want to see people in Roy Kidd Stadium. I get it. Everybody wants to go back to the when it was packed and everything like that. That's what we want. That's what we need. That's what we expect. And, we'll promise you we're going to be working our tails off to give you the best product we can give you. We've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll always do that. But it takes more than just us to put out a great product. We need the fans to be there to complete the product. We're putting the show on for you. And, our administration, you've seen the tweets with the lights. You see the new turf. You hadn't seen the new turf on the field yet, but you're going to see it. They're coming to put it in here soon. And, the things that they are doing to bring us a big-time football atmosphere prior to the game and during the game and after the game is really a testament, Robert, to you guys, to everybody over there in the offices. I mean, starting with Matt and going all the way down, and you feel the energy from that office. And so we have to continue to push that. We have to continue to sell that. We understand, the product on the field needs to be what it needs to be, and we're working our tails off to get it to where you can enjoy that. But there's a lot to that. And so we need you to come and help be a part of that. And tickets they're very reasonable. I've heard the prices, and I think that's great. I'd rather have, 2 more people in the stand for the price of 1 if we had to jack the price up. I just think bring your family, You can have a great day in Richmond. It's a great place, a lot of things to do, and we'll entertain you all day. Just come on over and we'll entertain you from start and tailgate to post-game party. And we'll do it and everything in between. I can't wait to see the light show. I can't wait to see all the things that we've got. We've got great teams coming in here. They're going to be a huge challenge for us. But you know what? That's what makes it all worth it. I'd rather play challenges than non-challenges.
We'll tell people in just a moment where they can get tickets. But, Coach, we appreciate you joining us tonight here on the virtual Colonel Caravan.
Appreciate you, Robert, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Coach. As we said, tickets are available for this upcoming season. $39 will get you in to the 2021 EKU football season. 6 games on the docket this year. It's going to be very exciting. 4 consecutive games in early September. EKU football tickets are on sale. EKU men's basketball tickets are on sale. EKU women's basketball tickets are on sale. Volleyball tickets will be on sale soon. There's a couple final games getting scheduled for that. And as soon as that happens, those will be available to the public. So make sure to get those season tickets. You can go online right now at EKUsports.com. There you can go in and pick your exact seat right now. There are tickets on the 50-yard line available for just $89 on the front row. So some great seats available as we look forward to this upcoming season here in just a few weeks. We're about 40 days away from the season and about 55 days away from the first home game as the EKU football team will head on the road for the first 2 games of the season, a September 4th matchup at Western Carolina before heading across the state to Louisville on September 11th before returning home for that September 18th home opener against Indiana State. The ASUN WAC Challenge will begin September 25th against Austin P. Some other great opponents coming to town: Tarleton, Abilene Christian. The team will head to Central Arkansas before returning home for Lamar. We'll celebrate the EKU College of Nursing that day on their 50th anniversary as part of this upcoming season. A trip down to Texas, 2 straight weeks down in Texas at Stephen F. Austin, at Sam Houston, the defending national champions, before returning home for a senior day matchup with Jacksonville State. And we hope that that is a tune-up for a FCS playoff berth, something that has become more a reality for the conference as EKU, as Matt Roan joins us now. And Matt, we take a look at the ASUN and what is ahead for it. It's going to be a league in football specifically that this year there's a chance to have more than one bid, something some of these other FCS leagues are hoping or wishing they had. But when you put this great group of teams together, that's something that is a benefit of this league. What does this mean for EKU, this move?
Well, I think you're seeing it with the storyline that's dominating a lot of college athletics at this very moment. And, that's Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. And I think programs and universities, they want to be associated with like-minded, growing aspirational institutions. And athletic departments want to be associated with the best. And for us, both of those things hold true in this move. We have an opportunity to align our institution in a part of the country, or with a part of the country that is seeing great population growth. And where there's population growth, there are prospective students who can help us out as an institution and certainly make our campus experience as positive as it can possibly be, and a very rich experience. It is a part of the country, as you can see there, where a lot of our alumni are. 100,000 living alumni live in those states that you see highlighted in yellow on your screen. And for us, so it's about the front end of the life cycle of a student, and that's being introduced to EKU and the campus beautiful and everything that we have to offer. But it's also that engagement piece on the back end and taking the Colonels on the road and playing where our fans and alums are. So really that alumni map matches that athletics map, that those prospective students match what you see in front of you there. But really also it's about the visionary leadership that I think we have in our conference. And Commissioner Gumbart was obviously on campus back in January. He came several times in between. He was here on July 1st, the first day that we celebrated our membership in the conference. He was here 2 Fridays ago, or last Friday, for our Colonel Club Golf Classic. And he has a bold vision of what he wants this league to become. And I will tell you, we're in the preliminary stages of kind of where we are with the inclusion of us. Central Arkansas and Jacksonville State, we're just scratching the surface of what that membership is going to look like, some of the strategic things that we believe we can accomplish together. And with his leadership, the leadership on the campuses, both from CEOs, presidents, chancellors to athletics directors, the groups of coaches, the student athletes that we represent, we think that the future is definitely bright in the ASUN.
Without question, an opportunity to evolve and grow this institution. What does it take to make this type of move happen, and what does it take resource-wise, and how does that evolve for this institution?
Well, I will tell you, for me, it took support and belief in what it is that we were trying to accomplish, and that starts with my boss, our president, Dr. McFadden, our board chair, Louis Diaz, the cabinet that I serve on, and certainly our entire board of regents. It took a belief and support to know here's where we are and here's where we want to go, and this is a path that we have to take to get there. And really kind of an unflinching resolve to understand that, sometimes that requires difficult conversations and difficult decisions. But we have to do what was the best thing for the institution and our belief. And, we have that support there. When you talk about the resources, Robert, again, you've heard me say a million times up and down the hallway that I believe that you have success, and I think it's pretty easy that you have success when you hire and you retain really good people. You give them the tools that they need to be successful, and you follow great processes. And when you talk about that tools, that certainly requires institutional investment. It requires the investment of our alums, season ticket holders, single game ticket purchasers that we hope to be able to make season ticket holders. It requires our partners, our corporate base in this community, in Eastern Kentucky and Central Kentucky, and really beyond there. It is an all hands on deck. It is a full team effort. And I'm the most fortunate person in the world that I get to be the mouthpiece, that I get to be, the biggest cheerleader for what it is that we're trying to accomplish. But everything that we do accomplish is the culmination of a lot of effort by a lot of different people. And that certainly starts with our student athletes. It goes to our coaches, our staff, and it goes to our community as well, both here, our alums in Florida, and every spot in between. It is a total team effort to get to where we want to go.
You talked a little bit about that support, and one way that alums and supporters in the local community can support EKU Athletics is through the Colonel Club, or through supporting one of our 16 sport programs, including the football program that we've spoken about a lot tonight, the Matter of Pride Boosters. Is there a specific way to philanthropically donate to EKU football? And it's been a great year for the Colonel Club as we continue to evolve and grow support for this program. It's so important to have that support as we go into a new conference, Matt, and that'll be a big piece of the success as we make that transition.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, for us, we want to make it as easy as we possibly can. And I know we'll probably talk about a few things tonight, Robert, with our Big E Association and our 1909 Society that is an evolution of our Colonel Club, or at least another part of our Colonel Club. Bringing our sponsorship piece back in-house with Sean Hamilton, trying to provide the best customer service that we possibly can on the ticket side. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I consider myself very fortunate to work at an institution that believes in the value of athletics, to work for people who believe in the value of athletics and how we can make this campus experience everything that I firmly believe that it can be. And they put their money where their mouth is. Certainly, we have been very fortunate to be the beneficiaries of an investment on the part of campus. But when you talk about ultimately getting to that next level, being able to look at our peers who have, pulled away from us somewhat over the last couple decades, how do you close that gap? It requires that institutional investment, but it certainly requires the investment of a campus community. And I'm very, very proud of the things that we've done over the past, 18, 19 months. It's great to see numbers in the black. It's great to see positive trend lines and upward arrows. But for us to close that gap as quickly as we want to close it, it requires us to kind of keep the foot on the gas and not to let up and try to get as many people as involved as we possibly can, as great as we possibly can.
Without question, you talk about having so many different individuals involved, and some individuals are capable of stepping up to an even higher level. And that is the introduction of the 1909 Society in so many ways. We've already seen since July 1, a few individuals step up and join the 1909 Society. And a little bit about this group, it requires a total $5,000 investment to EKU Athletics. That includes a $2,500 donation to the Colonel Club and a $2,500 or more investment of any other type. And that includes ticketing. Your ticket purchases do count towards getting to that $5,000 mark. So important to see individuals step up at any level they can. It takes every dollar, Matt.
Absolutely. And, there's no amount that you can give that is not significant to us. Again, we've had this conversation many times. If you can give $1 or you can give a couple million, I think the only thing that we'll ever ask is to do what you can. And I've said it a million times that, we'll do what you can so that our coaches and our student athletes can do what they're capable of. There is nothing that is insignificant to us, and we're so appreciative of every person, every dollar that comes into our department, whether that's, again, ticket, sponsor, philanthropic gift, it doesn't matter. But this is a way, and we're excited about it. And I appreciate your leadership on it. I appreciate the leadership of Grant Stepp to make the 1909 Society what it is, and to recognize that longevity, that total commitment that our individuals, that our fans make. And I think this is a great opportunity to continue to shepherd and cultivate those relationships.
Without question. And when you look at being invested in many ways, it's not just with funds, but being present. And that is a big part of the next thing we want to touch on, the Big E Association that we've just launched recently. Every former alum, every former student athlete, whether a letter winner, a bench player, a student trainer, student manager, former coaches, are all part of the Big E Association. There is no membership required, and there's lots of great things we've got coming down the road here. We're going to have some great events associated with football games this year, and such. One big key I do want to bring up as part of this is the Warren Cleat Club. That has such a great history here at EKU, and nothing is changing with the Warren Cleat Club. It remains a key part of the tradition of EKU football, and will remain a key part, or be a key part, of the Big E Association. We really look at it as kind of the footprint or the blueprint for what a invested alumni base is in a program. So we're excited to introduce that here this year. We'll have some various tailgates throughout the year, but we're excited to celebrate in so many different ways the alums and the great people that have come before.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that piece that you said that hopefully everyone heard is that there is no membership requirement. We are kind of reaching out and saying, show up, be engaged, take great pride in your program in this department. Take as much as you did when you wore maroon and white and you competed for the Colonels, or you were a manager or a trainer or a coach or whatever that may be. For us, talk about the relationship and the blueprint that the Warren Cleat Club provides. I've always been incredibly impressed during my 2 tenures here at EKU, that pride that our football alums do take in our department, specifically inside of that football program. And you can always count on that group to give a call, to shoot an email, to show up for games. And frankly, my very first game back here was a women's basketball game 2 seasons ago. And I just remember it was alumni night, and I was just disappointed by the number of people that showed up from a former student athlete perspective. And it dawned on me that we have to do a better job, that I want us to reach out and to let you know that this is your program. To my point that I made earlier, we're the most fortunate people in the world that we get to be the caretakers. But this is the program department of people who have poured blood, sweat, and tears into this place. And we want to make sure that you know that, and that we want to do our very best to represent you. And all we ask is that you just reach back out and kind of grab our hands and let's do this thing together.
Without question. Posting things on social media, being engaged in social media, follow us across our many platforms, interact with the coaches, So many great opportunities just to be engaged on a daily basis. And you talked about women's basketball. We're targeting February 5th, Saturday, February 5th, as a likely alumni weekend for both men's and women's basketball. So excited about that as we'll face Liberty as part of an ASUN schedule this upcoming season. So it's going to be exciting. That is also National Girls and Women in Sports Weekend. So we look for some announcements about some other initiatives for that as we've established a new women's fund to support our women's sports across the EKU athletics. So many great things going on right now across the board, Matt, and we're just a couple of weeks away from getting this thing rolling.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Again, I had the opportunity yesterday. I talked about it in the very beginning that I was finishing up a vacation, and I drove I-40 West, and I saw a sign that said Cullowhee next exit, and I thought, in about 6 weeks we'll be right back here. But we are so excited to get our fall sports underway. Our cross-country teams, our volleyball, our soccer. So excited to have those student athletes. A lot of them are here for summer workouts, but having them, start their training camps and getting into their competitive seasons, could not be more excited and hope things, continue to be well kind of in the world to allow that. But, having Coach Wells on tonight, he and I have had this conversation many times that, we want Roy Kidd Stadium to be what we know it can be. And that's an unbelievable home field environment. That's when we run out that just massive west side of the stadium, the home side, if you will, overflowing with people and just kind of losing their minds and helping us be successful. We've battled COVID-19, and so let's try to do the Colonel 19. Let's get 19,000 people in there for that season opener, I believe on September 18th when we take on Indiana State. And hopefully by that time we're 2-0. But it takes all of us. Could not be more excited to be the athletics director here. Consider myself incredibly fortunate to again work for whom I work for, to work with the coaches, the student athletes, our staff, you, Robert, so many outstanding people. But at the end of the day, to get to represent such a great fan base, donor base, sponsor base, just incredibly appreciative of this opportunity and excited for what's upcoming this upcoming fall.
Great staff, a great group of coaches, 11 head coaches across the programs now for the 16 sport programs we've got. Before we head out here, let's talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that our donors and fans can provide or can be part of the action, if you will. The opportunity to donate, EKUsports.com. Opportunity to donate to the Colonel Club, your philanthropic dollar, supporting student athletes across EKU's 16 sport programs. Earlier tonight, we're talking with head coach Walt Wells, and the Matter of Pride boosters support the EKU football program. That is a huge chance to make an impact on the future and current state of EKU athletics and EKU football. So much has been done to help the football program over the last year or two since the Matter of Pride boosters were going to a new turf room in the Begley building. So many other things, team room improvements have occurred. So much excitement around EKU football right now. But donate to the Colonel Club as an opportunity to support EKU athletics. Also being present and coming out for games is so important. The 2021 EKU football schedule is out and available. 6 home games on the slate this year. You can get season tickets for as low as $39 at EKUsports.com. You can pick your exact seat this evening by logging on to EKUsports.com. Men's basketball tickets available starting at $59. You can get those online. So when you think about that together, for just $98, you can come to every EKU football and men's basketball game this season. Add $25 onto that, and you can also join us for an exciting first year of Greg Todd as the leader of the EKU women's basketball program. Greg Todd returning to Madison County as the new head coach of the EKU women's basketball team. John will have her EKU volleyball program ready to go here in just a few weeks. An exciting home slate, including one home game that we can't announce yet, but I think people will really get excited about once that one comes out. Worth getting your tickets immediately, $20. Those will go on sale very soon. One other thing we want to talk about real quick, the most exciting night of the summer, a fundraiser to support EKU men's basketball and EKU women's basketball is August 20th at Boone's Trace National Golf Course. Tickets available for $100 and $150 for the VIP package. It's going to be an exciting night of food, fun, and a live and silent auction. We'll have live music. Really exciting night. AW Hamilton thought of this great concept, wanted to make sure the women's basketball program was highly involved in it. It's going to be an exciting night, playing off of the most exciting 40 minutes in sports that AW Hamilton and his team so well known for. Big things ahead as we look ahead to this upcoming season. And Matt, thanks again for joining us tonight. It's such an exciting time to be a Colonel.
It is. We're so excited about this upcoming year. Having COVID take away what we love, and that was Colonel Athletics without, or last year it was with capacity restrictions, having those lifted. And again, hopefully that holds true for the duration of this upcoming year. Just very, very excited about the schedules that we've been able to put together, the student athletes that we have on these teams, and the rebuilt rosters that we have, our lineup of coaches that you mentioned just a moment ago. And at the end of the day, the opportunity to welcome our fans back, having them be there. I've used this line a few times that competition without fans is a scrimmage. We're excited to have our fans back in our venues because you make all the difference in the world.
Thank you, Matt, for joining us. It's been a great evening talking Colonel Athletics with head coach Walt Wells and Matt Roan, the vice president and athletic director here in Richmond, Kentucky. One final thing as we close out here, if we can do anything to serve you in the Colonel Club office, we'd be happy to. Contact information for both Grant Stepp, myself, on the screen right now. We are here to serve you in any way we can to match your passion for EKU athletics, with philanthropic giving, with your attendance at games. We are here to serve you. Ray White in the ticket office, Sean Hamilton with our in-house sponsorship opportunities also available in any way we can. We are here to serve you. You as the fans are what make EKU athletics so special. I can't wait to see you all here in just a few weeks as we get going at Roy Kidd Stadium. We'll be in McBray Arena for volleyball this fall. Of course, over on the soccer pitch, it's going to be an exciting season across the board for EKU athletics and our 16 sport programs. It's the inaugural season in the ASUN Conference. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our Colonel Club virtual caravan. Feel free to contact us anytime. Can't wait to serve you in any way possible. Good night, everyone.